Whispers in the woods. The summer of 2023 had promised adventure and excitement for a group of 4 friends, Jess, Mark, Lena, and Sam, as they set out for an extended camping trip in the dense woods of Eldermoss. Late-night ghost stories and tales of cryptids from the local folklore filled their nights with shivers and laughter. They'd heard plenty about the elusive creatures said to roam the forest, the will-o'-the-wisps leading travelers astray, the terrifying Wendigo lurking in the shadows, and most notably, the Grinning Man, an entity who was said to appear at twilight, grinning widely while casting an unsettling aura. Although the friends dismissed these tales as just that, stories, they couldn't shake an unease that lingered during their venture. The first few days passed with laughter and firelight, stripped of worries and replete with tales of summer escapades. But on the night of the 3rd day, as golden sun faded into muted crimson, they gathered around the campfire, roasting marshmallows. It was Sam's turn to narrate a story, and with a glint of mischief in his eye, he began to recount the legend of the Grinning Man. The Grinning Man roams these woods at twilight, Sam said, his voice lowering to a conspiratorial whisper. They say if you see him, he'll follow you home. No one knows how he gets you, but the last moments of your life are filled with a smile that never leaves your face, frozen in fear or something worse. Jess laughed nervously, shifting her gaze toward the darkening trees. Come on, Sam, you don't actually believe in that stuff, do you? It's just a story, but it's spooky enough, right? Sam grinned, and the others chuckled along. As darkness settled, they decided to turn in for the night. The sounds of the forest echoed around them as they climbed into their tents, the last flickers of the fire barely illuminating their retreat. One by one, the laughter faded, replaced by the rhythmic sounds of crickets and the occasional rustling of leaves. But Jess couldn't sleep. There was something different about the woods that night. It felt alive, almost anticipating the inevitable. She tossed and turned, finally deciding to take a walk to clear her mind, hoping the cool air would help dispel her anxiety. As she stepped out of her tent, the chill of the night made her shiver. The moon hung high, illuminating the path through the trees, casting shadows that danced eerily. She walked deeper into the woods, not realizing how far she had gone until she paused, finally feeling the weight of solitude settle around her. That's when she heard it, a soft whisper carried on the wind, like gentle laughter weaving through the trees. Jess turned, heart racing, every instinct urging her to return. The laughter faded, replaced by a low, murmuring sound that seemed to beckon her closer. She hesitated, knowing she should call for her friends, but a strange allure gripped her. Just a minute more, she thought, stepping forward. And then she saw it. A figure standing at the edge of the clearing, partially hidden behind the trees, bathed in silver moonlight. It was tall, wearing a tattered coat that flapped in the breeze, but it was the face that made her blood run cold. A smile stretched wide across its features, too wide, revealing too many teeth that glinted like the edge of a blade. Jess, the figure whispered, stay with me. Panic surged through her. It was him, the Grinning Man. Her heart raced as she turned to flee, crashing through the undergrowth back toward the camp. She could feel something else behind her, trailing her, the laughter swelling in intensity. Each rustle of the bushes sounded closer, sharper. Bursting into the camps, she cried out for her friends, panting heavily. But instead of their concerned faces, she found only silence. Lena's tent flapped in the breeze. Sam's sleeping bag lay undisturbed, and Mark's tent was eerily quiet. Jess stumbled, scanning the area, her pulse echoing in her ears. Guys, where are you? Suddenly, from the shadows, she heard it again, a soft, mocking laughter. She whipped around, catching a glimpse of that twisted smile peering from a thicket. Jess, it called again, the voice dripping with mockery and promise, they're with me now. Gathering the last remnants of courage, Jess rushed to Lena's tent and threw it open. Empty. Mark's tent showed no signs of disturbance either. Tears sprang to her eyes as she realized she was alone. The laughter echoed all around her, rising into a roaring cacophony. Join us, Jess, we're so happy here. She ran to the fire pit, hoping to find something to defend herself with. The embers had turned cold, the momentary warmth replaced with the creeping chill of the night. A figure materialized just beyond the firelight, taller than the trees, grinning wider than she thought possible. Stay with us, forever, it whispered, stepping closer. In that moment, Jess remembered the stories, the men who had wandered into the woods and never returned. She could not let herself be another tale in a campfire story. Summoning all her strength, she screamed, "No!" With that defiance, she broke free of the grasp of enchantment that had begun to settle over her like a blanket. With one desperate push, she dove through the darkness, sprinting toward the light of the fading moon, not daring to look back. Trees blurred past her as she ran deeper into the forest, the laughter overwhelming her senses. Finally, she stumbled upon the main road, but the campsite, the tents, her friends, none of it existed anymore. Only the whispers of the wind seemed to remain, carrying the laughter that would echo in her mind long after as she fled the forest of Eldermoss and its haunting legends. For years afterward, the story of Jess would spread, blending with the myths of the Grinning Man, a tale of caution, one where the whispers in the woods continued their call for any curious souls who dared to listen.